Oh, the British. The colonial empire which wrote the book on gunboat diplomacy, became the cradle for the Industrial Revolution, and dictated every grain, spice, and herb of the global trade. But for a country so involved in importing culinary cultures abroad, they still slather everything in beans and gravy. Luckily, the same couldn't be said for the English automotive industry, as they were cooking up some bold new ideas by the start of the 1960s. The Issi became the answer to a lot of daring questions like, what if the engine went in sideways? What if the transmission went in the back? Will anyone even survive a crash? How does an Egyptian canal have this much power over our natural resources? And does size truly matter? The ingenious design spawned a legacy of affordable compact motor cars, rendering everything that came before as functionally and culturally obsolete. Unless of course you lived in India, where the dynasty refused to die for nearly 6 decades. But that's another subject. Of course, the Weeny we know today is a very different beast. Like many others, the British compact that started out as a napkin sketch was bought and sold to the highest bidder. Under Übermacht's tenure, the Issi was reborn, only this time the engine was rotated 90 degrees and the vehicle was upscaled like a stretched out picture off iFind. Übermacht might have been responsible for that god-awful cabrio version, but at least they tried to preserve its rally heritage. The rally stands as a complete antithesis to the original Issi. It's oversized, overly expensive, and confusingly named. How confusing, you may ask? Well, you've been looking at the Issi Sport all this time and not the rally. This is the rally. Übermacht's undying dedication to convincing people that SUVs are cool has seemed to rub off on Weeny a little. That came out wrong. Anyways, just like everybody else, by the early 2010s, Weeny had been assimilated into the SUV collective, capitalizing on the untapped markets of 2-person households convinced they need a 4-row family hauler for Saturday morning's groceries. The rally is plastered in badges and lettering to remind you that it's actually still a Weeny, and not some sort of wildebeest that swallowed an Issi whole. With that being said, the Issi's never looked meaner. The grille has been widened to accommodate a toothy snarl. In combination with its hood scoop, it's designed to pull in as much air as possible for its peppy and properly fitted 4-cylinder. Where have I seen this engine cover before? Remember when I said that Übermacht's been trying to preserve the little Weeny that could's rally heritage? Well, they have been. With this. We can lambast the rally for having put on an extra 1,200 pounds since the 90s, but we can't ignore the achievements and the beauty this car has in its proper rally spec. You could even buy your all-wheel drive rally with the race spec spoiler, and just listen to the growl you're greeted with on startup. You could almost forgive them for doing away with those iconic quad taillights. Almost. Moving on to the interior of the rally, you're faced with a modern infotainment system, as one would expect. What one wouldn't expect is a column shifter on a car built after the invention of the DVD. Not satisfied with the speeds of just one measly wiper stock? Well, the rally gives you 2 of them. That's 5 more speeds for all of your wiping needs. Being the SUV that it is, this new Issi has been given a plethora of affordances that its predecessors could only have dreamt of. Anybody with legs thicker than an inch can now sit in the back of an Issi comfortably. With rear cup holders, now the whole squad has a place to store those extra large burger shot meat shakes. The people in the back even have their own doors to get in and out with, instead of having to squeeze behind the seats like a contortionist. What's the rally like to drive? Well, if you get past the fact that it handles with the grace of a cinder block and brakes as well as, a cinder block, it sits smack dab in the middle when it comes to speed. Unless of course you know somebody. Those rally spec Issis come with some serious upgrades. Ask around the underground car clubs and you might have yourself an Issi which gives the rest of the performance SUVs a run for their money. Even if it still pales in comparison to a proper rally car. Still feels like a brick too. At the end of the day, the Weeny Issi is a change. An extra set of doors and a towering presence when compared to its predecessors. And yet, the rally retains the soul of the Issi. Instead of cashing out on the name like the rest of them, Weeny decided to take their SUV out onto the dirt and prove themselves just as they'd done 50 years prior.